Hello, people. I'm gonna try to keep this commentary quick, right? We're gonna watch this video, and it's a heartbreaking video. It's a heartbreaking video. Now, this is Alexis Murphy. This is a situation that took place in 2013. There's two mistakes that I saw this young girl make that I feel like contributed to what the outcome of her, her current uh, situation is, right? Um, it's believed that she is no longer living, but it's also possible that she could have been, uh, you know, you know, she could be being trafficked or something, right? So, but anyway, two mistakes. One third mistake is more of a, well, let's just talk about these three mistakes. First mistake is going to be walking into the store with this guy that obviously appeared to be controlling the situation. Obviously, he was controlling the situation when she walked in the door, right? Um, and she left back out. You can see her following this guy in her, in her car. She was following this guy somewhere. Now, she was either following him out of fear or following him out of for some other reasons. Um, that to me, it's hard for me to grasp the idea that it would be some sort of romantic thing, simply because I mean, you look at this guy, it's just like you can't. That guy, yeah, see how she's a young, attractive, little girl. You would think that I can now, maybe it was like some younger dude that was with him, that maybe, you know what I'm saying. But this dude, like, so that kind of threw it off for me. But I've seen crazier things. You know what I mean? I've seen it. So, I mean, who knows, but what I will say is this in regards to that possibility is that, and I'm keep reshooting this video because I'm trying not to talk too long, but I'm going to go ahead and just use this and just say this. We live in a country, right, where it was perfectly legal to do that to Emmett Till, right? Woman, many years later, admitted it was all fabricated. Did she go to jail? Did anybody serve any time for that? No, no, no. She died in peace. I believe she was on her deathbed or something like that when she said that. I don't know. I may be wrong. I don't know. But you know, there was nobody ever did a day in jail for that, right? Perfectly legal. In fact, people still go out and desecrate um, the monuments for Emmett Till. They go out and shoot bullet holes through it, right? Today, that still happens, right? We live in a country where people will look at little kids like they're less than human and try to manipulate children, small children, right? These racist people, they do that. And it's amazing to just to watch it happen. It's like, wow, like you are really, like that devil shit is like really in you. Like that's like not even human. You know what that's a level of hate. It's just wow. That makes no sense. You know. So, but anyway, um, but that's the country that you live in. That's the world that you live in. That's the reality that you live in. You know, you live in a world where specifically for black girls, I keep 75,000 missing and counting black girls. There's no big public. Do you see it on your social media? Do you see your big favorite superstars talking about it? All of these fake so-called woman empowerment people that are trying to you know in popular culture and media, these talk shows, and do you hear them talking about it? No, they don't. They don't invest in it at all. You don't hear them talking about it. And when you guys come up missing and when they're killing you guys, you know what they're saying? They're saying that you killed yourself. That's what they're doing. There was a situation recently where a woman was murdered behind a convenience store. And you know what the police said? Oh, she committed suicide. Right? They want to sweep it under the rug. You know what happens if you're a young black girl and you go missing? You know what they will say? Oh, she was a runaway. Let you have one picture of I don't know, ass shot, or one picture of you smoking weed, or one picture of you partying or something. They're just going, oh, she was a runaway. Done. Over with. Sweep it right under the rug. That's what's going to happen. That's what they're doing. That's the world that you live in. You need to act like that's the world that you live in. Because the first thing they want to do is sweep it under the rug because they don't want to deal with the paperwork. And the reason why is in even though listen, it would appear that it's because you're black, but the reality of the matter is it's a deeper thing, and that is the fact that you have the dummies of suburbia that invest like the banks like fuck these people over 100 times over. But see, that's revenue for the bank. They have an invested interest in suburbia in these areas because people will literally pay 3 and 4 times they'll pay for a house 3 or 4 times just to live in a particular area. These people are paying for houses for 40 fucking years, right? You know, and this is how the banks are thriving off of this. So in those areas, and people that are in those areas most likely to be in those areas are going to be protected by the banks, basically banks' interest. So if you are not considered banks' interest, then guess what? You get swept right up under the rug. Right now, if these abductions and stuff like this was happening to people that they would assume to be coming from particular areas, then there's more fire behind it. There's more people, okay, we got to react to this. We got to respond to this. So when I look at the way they responded to this situation with this young girl, it's like, wow, you know, it's crazy that they don't put that much effort into girls that are missing from other areas, like in some of the rougher neighborhoods in Chicago. They don't invest that much into it. Run away. Right? So what I'm trying to say is understand that to men like me, oh, you are incredibly valuable. Right? But until things change and the numbers change in America, this is what we've been dealing with for a very long time. Right? We got monsters in positions of power, and this is how they got this thing set up. So what you have to do is acknowledge that you need to arm yourself. You need to protect yourself. You need to live your life like you live in a world that is controlled by fucking monsters right now. You see what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. And you got to be able to be ready to protect yourself and be alert. And you can't be making yourself readily available to people that like most likely mean to cause you some kind of harm. Like sometimes it's, you can't um be naive. You can't have your head in the clouds. You can't, you know what I mean? Like you have to use context clues and just kind of be smart about certain things. You know what I mean? Be smarter about certain things. And I would say this before we watch this video. Celibacy and sobriety. I know that the music today is not really pushing that because popular culture wants to destroy you. But sobriety and celibacy is a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I practice heavily. You know, I don't smoke nothing. I never get high. I don't get high in any kind of shape, form, or fashion at all. I just have no interest in it. Right? And I don't just give my body to any old body. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that this young girl did this. I'm not making that, assumption at all. But what I'm saying, I'm just naming some of the things that I think can put us in these vulnerable situations that gets us, that basically puts us in harm's way, right? Me personally, I feel like when I look at the video, I feel like this girl was already abducted when she went into that store, and she was just scared and she just followed this guy, and I just out of fear. But mentally you have to be in a certain place to do that, and you can't have your babies out here. We can't have we can't have our young girls out here thinking like that. We can't. You know, if you're in a situation where you're abducted or something like that, every opportunity you get, if you're in public, you're around people, you're screaming, you're yelling, you're running, you're doing whatever you can, because listen, if this person gets you alone, you're dead. You're dead. You see what I'm saying? If he's going to try to kill you anyway, fight for it. Don't find yourself in a situation where you're fighting on the floor of a fucking trailer like this young girl was, obviously. And we'll see this from the evidence we're going to look at in this video. So, as I said in the last video, 75,000 and counting missing black girls. And I may have already said this. There's a black girl that was murdered behind a convenience store, and the police said it was a suicide. In America today, they will find black girls hung in trees, and they will say she killed herself, just like they did with Sarah Bland in the prison or in jail. She went to jail for whatever. They snatched out the car, took her to jail, and then she killed herself in the jail. She hung herself. Right? This is the world that we live in, and again, strap up, protect yourself. I'm not saying walk around living your life in fear. I don't live my life in fear. I just hope, people, sometimes people seem to pick up on that. Like, I'm not afraid, but it's just, I feel sorry for the person that tries it with me, because they're going to be in a whole lot of pain. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in that situation before, and some of you guys know me personally, already know that all three of them in a trauma center. So yeah. But anyway, let's go ahead and watch this video. All right.
None of it made sense. Like, she wasn't unhappy. She was actually going to do something fun.
We knew immediately this was a big deal. There's something going on here.
Everybody kind of cried because, that was like the first big break that we had gotten, like, okay, we're getting somewhere.
It was kind of a relief. No blood stains in the vehicle. Thank God, maybe she's still alive. But the video is so grainy, we don't know anything other than it's a person. So we wanted to find out more.
She had this very blank look on her face. It's like very uncomfortable.
The one thing that really stuck out that the clerk really was adamant about was he had a tattoo on his neck of Daffy Duck. And that's a pretty distinct identifying mark. We showed him the DNA evidence and said, look, we know she was here. But he said, well, if you think I'm lying, just arrest me. Once that shirt was unrolled, we don't have just one hair now. We have hair extensions that Alexis Murphy wore and press-on eyelashes wrapped up in this shirt. It was just incredible. We had enough for the murder charge.
I will never stop looking for her.
That's it. All right. So, yeah, this is, again, ran across my feed, and it just disturbed me, man. You look at her walking in that store, she looked clearly distraught at that point already, so, that kind of leads me to believe that she's not one of those girls that would like flock to a guy like that. You know what I mean? She don't really come off like she's one of those type. But oh man, bro, I just, I don't know. If there's anything else that I would say, and again, that's what I always like to do in these videos is focus on the solution. What is the solution? What is the solution? What could have been done differently? How can we avoid it? What's the fix? What's the solution? I would say defense, teaching young girls how to confidently defend themselves, martial arts training, stuff like this, firearms training. And I'm gonna tell you this, man. When I was young, listen, in Chicago, there was a lot of young girls that was carrying. Listen, there's a lot of young girls that I knew that was always strapped. 22, little 9mm, walking. Listen, I'm serious. And some of them girls would be faster to pull a trigger than some of the dudes was. You know what I'm saying? So, teach. They need to know how to operate a firearm. I'm not saying carry one illegally, but I'm saying is that I don't know, if somebody tries to abduct you and they get shot in the ass, well, guess who's not getting abducted today? You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, you have to protect yourself by whatever means is necessary. Sometimes a good knife will do it. Sometimes some good pepper spray. Being attentive, being alert, you know what I'm saying? But also when you're in a situation where a person is trying to control you in that way, that she was clearly being controlled. And And from the looks of things, obviously she was killed on that same day. God, that just brings just, because her blood and all of that was on that same shirt that we, you see him in the video on. So it would appear that he probably killed her that same day. Probably shortly after, she drove off behind him. So ladies, just got to be more careful. When she was in the car, that was her opportunity to run like hell. She would have been able to get away from him in that Nissan. Got to our young girls to be brave and know how to, be cautious and careful. That's one thing I love about my daughter. Is she's a little lady, but she's cautious. And always asking me, can I wave at the lady? Because sometimes people, because she's such a pretty little girl, But again, and I want to say unfortunately, but my baby girl is one of the girls that will be considered, I guess, in the hierarchy, of beauty, for black girls, unfortunately, that is the case, just green eyes, red hair, so, and I say unfortunately because, listen, chocolate girls and, caramel, whatever, black girls are, all beautiful in so many different varieties, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, in this brainwashed, fucked up society that we live in, she is like number one for a black girl, right? So I gotta work with my daughter to keep her from letting her mind get brainwashed with this fucking demonic, fucking twisted mentality that these people have. You know what I'm saying? And remain an individual. You know what I'm saying? And that's just one way that I have to protect her, but I also have to protect her and keep her. And she's ever in a situation, where she may be in danger, that she's ready to defend herself. And that may even mean that she just might be strapped. You see what I'm saying? And it's just what it is, because my baby need to come home. And it's bottom line, you don't be afraid to pull that trigger. Daddy know how to make people disappear, if it comes to that, But I don't know, man. I'm gonna get off of here because I'm just so distraught about this situation, man. It really hurt me, man. Again, let's be alert. 75,000 and counting missing black girls. There's serial killers in some of your cities, in some of these areas. What the cops are doing is they're just, they want to have money coming in. They want tourists to come in. They don't, so they don't bring attention to some of these murders and some of these things that are happening. They don't bring a lot of attention to it, until it gets to a point where it's overflowing and they have to say something. Until it gets to that point, if you listen, don't be a number. Don't be, swept under the rug is what I'm saying. All right. Love y'all out there. Be safe. We gotta protect these girls, man. Gotta protect these young girls. All right. We out here.